our WDHA Dog Days of Summer virtual edition. My beautiful, sweet, amazing friend Scott Stapp is joining us. Hey, you, welcome. It's wonderful to see your beautiful face. I love hearing your voice, but I like seeing your face as well.
Good to see yours as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Me and Rosie welcome you. Space Between the Shadows, what can I say? Just a dynamite, amazing, amazing record. Love, 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 love. But you're here to talk about your pets because we're helping out our shelters, doing this virtual event. And we put the call out to some of our rock friends. You were one of the first people to get back. You have, is that like the Stapp Zoo at the house? You have a lot of pets.
We have a lot of pets, and I've got 2 with me right now, and both of them were rescues, and one was a rescue from New York, and another was a rescue from Florida. And Gracie, come here, girl.
Gracie.
Come here, Brooklyn. So Brooklyn, obviously, his name is Brooklyn.
Oh, he's beautiful.
And he's my rescue from
Rosie sees them. Rosie sees them.
And he is a lover, and this is Gracie.
Oh my God, I love them. Now Scott, Brooklyn looks like he could be like potentially have a little bully in him. I love the loving bully breeds. They're so awesome.
He is a boxer lab mix.
Got it.
And he is all love. He just wants to love and cuddle and get in your lap and lay on you. And it's so funny when I lay in bed, he'll put his arm around me, like literally like a human. Like he has to have his arm around me when I'm laying in bed. It's so funny.
Yeah, he wants to be touching you. Oh, he is beautiful. He's beautiful. And then talk to me about Gracie. She's gorgeous too.
Gracie, come here, baby. Come here, baby.
Oh, look at her.
And she is a big girl. They said she's one of the biggest female German Shepherds around. She's super tall. She weighs 120 pounds. Gracie, come here, baby. Gracie, come over here. Come over here. Come over here.
Gracie's like a Terry Carr plus 30.
Gracie, come over here. Come over here.
She's beautiful.
And the thing about Gracie, she's very, come here, honey. Come here, baby. Come here. Gracie, come here. Come here.
I love Gracie. It's so funny because Rosie sees Gracie in Brooklyn, so she's doing the little, she's doing her Rosie growl.
There she is. There she is.
Oh, look at them. Scott, they are lovely.
Gracie is very, very protective. She's very much of a guard dog without even teaching her that of the family. She's very protective of the kids. She's also very, very protective of Brooklyn, and she chastises Brooklyn all the time. If he doesn't, when they're outside and we're playing and they're playing with the kids, and I call him to go in, Gracie will run to go in, and if Brooklyn doesn't immediately follow, Gracie runs and gets Brooklyn, shoos him in like chat. It's so adorable.
Yeah, she's the alpha. She's the true alpha dog in the house.
And she's Mama Bear.
Yeah.
And so we have another white German Shepherd named Macy, and Macy is with my brother-in-law right now because he lives like 15 miles away, and he's got dog training today, and so we had him spend the night.
Oh, nice.
And so we just love the German Shepherds. The kids love the white ones, and anytime we can take a dog that is in need, we do. We've also got a rescue kitten. It's our 4th. And my daughter and my wife love cats as well. And it's so funny. The cats and the dogs, they're like lovers. They get on top of each other. They play. You know what I mean? The only ones that get the bullying from the dogs are the chickens and the ducks.
Yeah, when I heard, and Scott has chickens, and I was like, there's chickens also in Stappland. That's pretty amazing that you have chickens hanging around too. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the kids, because your kids are awesome. You're such a great family man. I love your wife. Jackie's amazing too. So obviously it's been a blessing to have the kids grow up with the animals. I always think having the kids grow up with animals, I always grew up as an only child. And there was never a time in my home where we didn't have animals.
Yeah.
Dogs and birds and fish, and I had a pet rat as a kid. I
Yeah.
just really bonded with animals, and I think it's such an enriching thing to have the kids. You've got the baby, and you
Yeah.
also have kids that sort of go up into the preteen and teen and above that.
And,
So what has it
and
been like
adult.
for the kids and adults, right? And your son,
Yeah.
what has it been like for the kids to grow up with this love and appreciation for animals, and knowing that they took part in saving some of these animals, you know, from a life that may not have been the best?
Yeah. To mention Brooklyn real quick, the sad story about him is when we got him, he was a traumatized puppy, a
Ooh.
traumatized dog. We got him at about a year old, and you could tell that he had been abused. And I mean, just calling his name, he would cower. And it was, man, it makes me tear up a little bit to remember the memories, because he was just, it's so sad. But the kids just rallied around him and gave him love, and just as much love as they gave him, he gave it back. Even my toddler now, he's so in love with the animals, and they give it right back to him, and they're gentle with him. It's so amazing to see these big dogs, that they understand that, you know, Anthony's 2.5 and they could knock him over and whatnot, but they're very sweet with him and gentle, especially Gracie, the German Shepherd. I'm shocked. She understands. But it's been amazing to see how much they've been a part of the kids' development. You know, I've seen my daughter and the impact that the cats have had on her, in terms of when situations and dealing with preteen stuff and now teen stuff, how she turns to her animals.
Yep.
And for the longest time, she's wanted to be a veterinarian. I mean, since she was very little, just loves all animals, any animal that exists, and she wants it. And so, but just to see how the love is reciprocal,
Mm-hmm.
and the care is reciprocal, and you see it with the kids, and it's such a critical part in our family to, I think, a healthy environment for a child to grow up in.
Yeah.
And they really become friends and family members, and provide our family with just as much love, and guidance, as especially Gracie being Mama Bear.
Yeah, I think animals
You
are
know,
such teachers. You know, as you said,
they are.
the kids rallied around Brooklyn, and it's true. They gain a sense of compassion and understanding, and
Yep.
I think
Yep.
animals really help us find those parts of ourselves where maybe sometimes we're just a little bit too busy to remember, or too young to remember, or not mature enough to remember. And you know, I think there's just something magical about them, and magical about what they do for us as people, and
They
having
do.
them in our lives. I said yesterday to somebody, I can't remember who I was Zooming with, I think it was Rudy Sarzo, and I said they're almost like Prozac and fur, because there's something that's very calming about having your animal with you in times of trouble. You know, I have a
Yeah.
few dogs, and you know, Rosie is my she's my alpha, and
Yeah.
but it's so true. It's like they just do so much for us, you know.
And, you know, the thing that gets me is it seems like they understand when we're off or having a bad day,
Oh yeah.
or we're down. And I've seen them not only comfort me and come to me, and it just has me escape. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. But I've seen them do it with my kids, you know, and even the cat, as you know, we've had Elvis, Priscilla, and now Lily. And they're all the same. They seem to, you know, Lily can be feisty, and she's young, and she's all over the place at times. But I've seen my daughter, when she was stressing with school, Lily just come up to her and just rub her and rub next to her, and it's almost like she senses that, you know, something's going on. And so it's just amazing what pets do, and their human qualities.
Yeah,
Almost.
absolutely,
If that's
absolutely. I
okay
say
to
that
say.
too. Mine is very, we call her very intuitive, because
Yeah.
even if you have a computer problem and I'm like, oh, damn, or, she's right on the alert. Like, what's wrong? What's happening? What's going on?
Right.
She's the same way, where she picks up on every little nuance of
Hmm.
my personality, whatever's happening during the day. And you feel like when COVID struck, I was so nervous and afraid and scared. And I felt like the dogs felt that way too. Like they could pick up on my energy
Yep.
with everything happening, and they were very, very off too. So
Yep.
yeah, they definitely have that magical quality for sure. And I'm so inspired that you rescued and rescue too, because that's so important. And look at your beautiful animals. Some people think that
They
you can
are.
only get certain dogs in a shelter, or that there's something wrong with them, or that they're broken. Or I say most animals end up in shelters of no fault of their own. Top
Right.
reasons are people are getting a divorce, or people are moving, or someone in the family passes away and there's not somebody to
Right.
take on the responsibility. You can
Right.
find any kind of dog, large,
Yes.
small, old,
Yep.
young, in a
Yep.
local animal shelter. You do a little bit of, work on the computer. It's easier than ever. This
Yep.
event for us was so important, because we always do these events. We do 2 a year with Dover Dodge, our partner in this, and couldn't do it this year. So we were trying to figure out, how do we get these animals, noticed? So we've got our whole, virtual adoption, where you can go through and pick out the
Right.
animals that you like and set up a meet and greet, and our rock friends talking about, their animals. So I can't thank you for sharing with me enough. And by the way, I want to also congratulate you. You've been so busy during all of this, tour getting postponed and everything, and you're always trying to figure out ways to do something good. And you did a great live stream for ChildFund. You've been involved in a lot of different organizations, but tell me a little bit about ChildFund and why it's so important to you and your wife, Jacqueline.
Well, ChildFund is an organization that helps children in extreme poverty. And in helping those children, they inevitably help the parent that's involved in that children's life, whether it be the parents or one parent. And really, it's a global organization. They help children in poverty all over the world, but also here in America. I think it's important that we start at home and look outward. And so over the last 4 or 5 years, we've partnered with ChildFund to help children in need all over the world. And the thing I like about ChildFund is it not only provides immediate needs, if there's dire situations where they food, water, medical attention, shelter, of course there. But then they go in and they help these communities and these areas, and they develop them and they stay with them, and they build community centers, schools, provide nutritional plans, education. And so they're looking at developing these areas and changing the path and the trajectory of these children and families in poverty forever. And so one thing that was important to me is I wanted to see it firsthand. So I believe it was a year and a half ago, I went to an area that we were helping, and I said, can you show me an area where we're just getting started? And so we went, and it was devastating and it was heartbreaking to see. And then we went to an area where they had been for 5 years, and I saw this dramatic change. I saw this community center. I saw this education system. I saw the health of the children, how they were dressed, how involved the parents were in the community, and then I saw 10 years and 15 years where I saw these kids that had been, involved with ChildFund and getting help from ChildFund since they were very little. And now they're, 18, educated, going to college. And from where they started, dirt floors, tin roofs with holes in them, water coming through, with animals and chickens running around through this, to have their life completely changed, where they went from some place where that's all they knew to now they're seeing a future and seeing a complete change in a generational situation is just beautiful. And it's something that I want to be a part of, and that my wife and I want to continue to be a part of, and bring awareness to, because it's really making dynamic change and lasting change. And it's not just in and out. It's not just, here, take some food, we're gone.
Yeah.
No, it's here, we're going to help you now, but now we're going to teach you how to take care of yourself, change your life so you can do it forever. And that was awesome to me. I thought, man, that is so cool. And so, we've been doing it, and thank you. It was amazing that we got to do that quarantine concert, because COVID-19.
Oh, amazing. Just amazing. Really,
thank you.
Really great.
Because it did have an impact on their lives as well, in a harsh way. And so we wanted to help them the best we could, and we met our goal, and are exceeding it, because people are still viewing that performance and asking how they can help, and so it's just been amazing, the response.
I don't think people realize too, sometimes when things happen, when tragedy strikes like COVID-19, everybody suffers in every way, not just with what's happening, whether it's the children suffering or local community suffering or animal shelters becoming overwhelmed. It has such a domino effect. And I think what you said, giving people the tools to create change, and you being somebody who was able to observe hope. When you're able to observe hope, there's nothing that energizes you more to go in and to see the hope that can happen from step 1 to step 51 in the community. Is just, it's the most satisfying thing.
It really is.
Yeah. And I'm just always happy to talk to you. It's always so great to catch up with you. I think we could chat every 2 weeks, and there's always something new and wonderful going on. Please say hi to Jacqueline, say hi to the family. I just love you guys. You're some of my favorite people on the planet. Thank you for adopting. As we always say, opt to adopt. It's the best thing that you will ever do. You can get beautiful dogs like Brooklyn and Gracie and my crazy little Rosie here. These animals are wonderful. They make wonderful companions, best friends, as you can see. I mean, look, come on.
I see.
With all due respect to all the men I know, no man is going to love you. No man's going to love you like this. Look at this. Just look at this. Just look at this. Say hi to the family. Kiss everybody from me, Scott. Mwah. I love you till we can hug again in person, my friend. Thank you for having me.